Hello everyone, today we're going to be attempting analytics. It's an easy box and it looks like it's running Linux. First thing we're going to do is run nmap on the target IP address. We'll see what services it's running. Okay, it looks like we got SSH and HTTP open. First thing I'm going to do is edit the etc host file, that way we can go there through our web browser. Okay, I'm just going to save and quit that. Oh, gotta open it with sudo. Alright, now let's see if we can go there. Forgot HTTP. Okay, let's try to go there through our IP address. Did I put weird? Alright everyone, so after some troubleshooting, I figured out that I actually needed to put analytical.html in the host file, not analytics. So, alright, so let's see what we got here. This looks like a just looks like a service for providing analytics for a company. Looks like none of the links really work. Okay. Alright. There is a login, so that's interesting right off the bat. And that is not resolving. Data.analytical. Huh. I don't think this has anything to do with my host file, but I might as well make that like a lowercase. So, alright, looks like that was the fix. So again, I added data.analytical.html to the host file. So I'm assuming we're going to need to find some sort of vulnerability in the login page here. real quick, I might as well test for cross-site scripting. It's pretty low likelihood that it's gonna be a thing, but try that too. Nothing. And that's just a password, so I don't think that's gonna work. Try like admin r admin password. Okay, can also try for directory traversal. We might need that % in there. Huh. So I don't think that the directory traversal is something that this is going to be vulnerable against. I do notice that this is using something called metabase. So maybe we can look up any vulnerabilities associated with metabase. Looks like right here already found a CVE. So it says that metabase versions before 0.46.6.1, metabase enterprise versions before 1.46.6.1 are vulnerable to this. Fortunately, I don't have a version number, so we can try to see if this is gonna be vulnerable to the CVE, just to start off here. But let's see if we can figure out a little more about it. Says the root cause of this vulnerability is that the setup token is not cleared after the setup is complete. This allows an unauthenticated attacker to get the setup token and use it to execute commands on the target remotely. So this is a remote code execution vulnerability. Going over here to CVE database. So usually with these vulnerabilities, you can maybe perhaps find an exploit for the vulnerability by using Metasploit. So let's just start at the Metasploit console here. So I'm wondering here if we can search for the CVE. Looks like we can just use this. Looks like that's it right here. I see metabase setup token, our remote code execution. So now that we've found the exploit that we want to use, we're going to use it. So now we are now using it. Alright, now that we're using it, we're going to see what options we can have that are associated with the vulnerability. So, looks like we need the R hosts, so the target hosts. We need, it looks like the remote port is set to 3000 by default. We may need to change that. We're not using SSL. And the target URI, we do need to set that. So now that we know that, we can go ahead and set those variables. So this variable is going to be set to the host name, which is going to be data.analytical.htb. And then we're going to set the remote port to 80 since it's using HTTP. And then we'll set the local host to be the IP address I believe that we have. So let's just get the IP address here of our machine. Looks like it is this one. So set localhost to that. Alright, so now we should be able to run the exploit. And it looks like it worked. Alright, so after some troubleshooting, I did get it working. I put in the wrong IP address. I was putting in the IP address in for my Ethernet ETH0 when I actually needed to be putting in the tunnel IP address because that's the one that's connected to the VPN. They both started out with the same 10 dot, so that's what confused me. But if you put that in, it will establish a connection. So I can then run these commands, and now these commands are being ran on the remote machine here. So we can see that we're logged in with the Metabase user account. So at this point too, we should be able to get the first flag that we need. We can just do the pwd so we can see that we're in the root of the machine. So if we go to home, we should be able to see Metabase, and then we can see, oh, it looks like there's only the Metabase account. So maybe not yet. So it looks like there is a script there, though, in the home directory of the Metabase user called linpeas.sh. So perhaps we could use this to do some privilege escalation. So let's try to run that script. So after looking at this output from the script, it looks like there is a password that is in clear text here. These are the environment variable passwords. So actually we could probably just see that same thing if we, and this is a lot of output, but if we just, actually I can't clear the screen. If we just echo the environment variable, which we specify with a $sign, and then meta pass, should be, yep. So whoever set up this machine did something that was not very good security practice by putting their password in an environment variable on the computer. So, but yeah, now that we have this password, we can actually just SSH into the machine, which will give us somewhat more of a stable shell. So now that we have that password, we can try to SSH into that machine. And I might need to use the IP address. Do yes, and then we will try to put in that password that we gathered in the last step. It's looking like that password's not going to work. Just verifying I typed it right. Okay. Let me make sure there's nothing else that I missed in here. Because I do see that there is a password associated with the account, but I don't see the username in here that's associated with the account. So after looking into this further, I was able to find a line here that says meta user equals metalytics. So we are going to try and see if we can SSH into the machine using that account instead of the Metabase account. Okay, looks like that worked. So now we can see that we found the first flag. So we'll go ahead and submit that. So now it's time to try to figure out how we can get the root flag. So usually you can run this command to see what stuff you have access to, what commands you can run as the root user while being logged into this account. Okay, so it looks like we cannot run sudo at all. Something I noticed when I was scrolling through the output from this Linux privilege escalation script was this CVE here. So I'm gonna do a little bit of research into these CVEs quick, and we'll see if there are ways for us to execute commands as root. So after looking into the CVE right here, it looks like I found a proof of concept for it. So I can probably copy this from this GitHub repository and see if we can exploit it. So first of all, it uses GCC. Not sure if we'd be able to install that on here, but it's worth a try. So we got to get that password again that we had discovered earlier. So forgot that we do not have sudo permission, so we may not be able to run any C script. So since that did not work, we will try to look into this one here. So I also tried looking into the CVE 2021-22555, and it was using the GCC compiler as well, which is not installed on here. Another thing that we can try to look at is looking up this version of Ubuntu and seeing if there's any known vulnerabilities against this version. Alright, so I've successfully found the flag for root. I had to exit the SSH connection and then reconnect. And once I reconnected, I just ran that same command again, checked the ID, things looked different, so I did cat root.txt, and I did find the flag. So that was a pretty tough one, but yeah, I learned a lot, so thank you everyone for watching. See ya.